Monica, do we have anybody signed up to speak? We'll close the public comments. Next item is superintendent's recognition. Dr. Adams.
Okay, so as we do our recognitions, after each one, if you want to leave, you're more than welcome to. We want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to see. So we're going to start with purchasing. Go ahead. Okay. The Temple ISD School District's purchasing department has been honored with the Award of Merit for purchasing operations by the Texas Association of School Board Officials, or TISD. The purchasing department, if you're going up. The district submitted an application covering 8 different subject areas and documenting everything from purchasing policies and procedures to departmental organization, staffing, certifications, communication with vendors, even the technology and software used by the department. Those applications were reviewed by a team of volunteers, and this year Temple ISD was one of just 84 educational organizations from across the state to meet the stringent criteria to earn the Award of Merit. This is the second consecutive year Temple ISD has been awarded this prestigious honor. Temple ISD's purchasing department is made up of purchasing coordinator Mark Floyd, purchasing specialist Laura Ludlow, warehouse specialist and courier Todd Copeland, and warehouse specialist Samuel Santos. Being recognized among the state's elite purchasing departments helps underscore this team's commitment to following best practices, being good stewards of taxpayer dollars, and working to get the best value for goods and service to make sure we're stretching our budgets while still meeting the needs of our students, our staff, and our families. Congratulations to each of you for all you do to help Temple ISD and our students, our families, and our community. Well done.
We just want to say thank you for the work that you do, and we realize that a lot of it happens behind the scenes, but the impact is felt every day, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Next item is TISD Finance and TASB Award of Excellence.
So the Texas Association of School Business Officials, or TASBO, has recognized the Temple Independent School District Finance Department with this organization's prestigious 2026 Award of Excellence in Financial Management. Come on down, Finance Department. This is the first time that Temple ISD has received the TASBO Award of Excellence in Financial Management, and the district was one of just 34 recipients of this year's award statewide. The criteria to qualify for the Award of Excellence in Financial Management is stringent and is based on accounting and reporting guidelines identified by the Texas Education Agency Financial Accountability System Resource Guide. Applicants must submit documents from across 11 key areas, which are reviewed by a TASBO accounting subcommittee. The Award of Excellence is given to students, to Texas school districts, open enrollment charter schools, and education services that demonstrate professional standards, best practices, and innovations in the area of financial management and reporting. The TISD Finance Department has also been recognized by the Association of School Business Officials International, the Government Finance Officers Association, and received a Superior Financial Accountability Rating from the Texas Education Agency this fiscal year. You guys have had a great year, and we just want to say congratulations, and we're so happy to recognize you. The Finance Department is led by our Assistant Superintendent of Finance, Ms. Brandy Stanford, and she knows this is a team effort, so we'll let her introduce her department. Well done.
First of all, I'd just like to say congratulations to the Finance Department. I'm used to this now. You guys are up all the time here. But if you put that in perspective, there was 34 of these awards given out. And I think there's 1,200 school districts, probably 1,200 school districts in Texas. So look where we is awesome. That's fantastic. Again, congratulations.
So anybody that wants to know, that's 0.02% of school districts. So I have first with us our accounting supervisor, Dina Vickery. I have Belia Rodriguez, Jenna Luna, Donna Aliman, our director of budget and compliance, Helen, Green, Amy Branton, and Terry Burleson, our director of finance. These ladies are kind of competitive, and so when the opportunity came about, and I asked them about applying, I thought they would tell me that takes a lot of time, and we are always busy crunching numbers. Instead, they said, we're competitive, let's do it. And so I'm proud of these ladies because they always put our students first. They really value transparency and financial compliance. They have done a great job, and they are a great team to work with. I am honored.
Thank you. So if you were here for the finance awards, you're welcome to exit if anybody is here. And then we'll go ahead and get ready for students.
Item C is finance, fine arts, and UIL solo and ensemble state qualifiers.
Awesome.
Dr. Adams?
We are so excited. To qualify for the state solo and ensemble contest, students are required to receive a superior rating on a memorized Class 1 solo or a memorized Class 1 ensemble piece. This evening, we are so excited. Good job. We are so excited to have the opportunity to recognize more than 60 of our fine arts students for earning the right to represent Temple ISD at the state solo and ensemble contest. These students represent choir, orchestra, and band, and multiple students have qualified for both solo and ensemble performances at the state. And so now I'm going to read the names, and so students, as I read your names, you'll come up, shake hands, and then we're just going to kind of gather across the front. Good? Okay. In choir, Perla Alejo, Caden Alley, Sam Barron, Evelyn Baugh, Zoe Bruns, Malia Caldwell, Victoria Carzales, Maribel Castillo, Ada Dang, Renee Galladay, Sebastian Dominguez, Connor Frazier, Maxwell Jaffers, Adrian Lopez, Elaine Montrepiano, Vanessa Martinez Gomez, Elijah McCarty, Hayden Mendez, Nettie Royal, Benjamin Russell, Elena Slauson, Kaylee Som, Dylan Stephen, Colby Tickner, Kelsey Waller, and Aubrey Wharton. So these are our choir students. Everybody, once we get everybody, let's give them a hand of applause. There we go. We got to see your faces. Good job, friends. Come down just a little bit further, Perla. Wonderful. We are not going to move until every parent gets the picture they want. No worries. Our choir is under the direction of Cameron Reclos and Megan Simmons. You guys want to join them on stage? Yes, they do. Can't do it without our directors. All right. Make sure we have all the pictures we want. Parents, are we good? Everybody got the pictures they need? Are we able to exit that way? Yes? Okay. Choir students, we're going to exit.
If you give me just a minute.
Oh, I apologize.
I'd like to thank all of you for all the hard work and bringing so much joy to us when we get to see you in action. It is something that year after year after year, the faces may change, but the history, you carry it forward, and we're so proud of every one of you. Thank you.
Good job. All right, orchestra. All right. Now we'll recognize our orchestra students who qualified for state ensemble and solo. All right. Our orchestra students, Mirapaz San Juan, Stephen Jones, and Gustavo Sanchez. Did we get all the pictures we needed? This is orchestra.
Again, just repeating, choir is one branch of the fine arts, orchestra is another, and just to hear the beautiful music they make with their strings, and it's just amazing that we get to enjoy our students, and we thank you parents for supporting all that.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, now we will recognize our band students. All right, so students, as I say your name, you'll go through and shake hands and then line up in front, okay? All right. Alejandrina Robles, Audrey Lamana, Paxton Slay, Amari Dobbins, Enrique Cisneros, Dylan Robinson, Erickson Valdez Julino, Sebastian Guillen, Job Aguiano, Hayden Turner, Aiden Lampkin, Paxton George, Malik Badger, Riley Jacobs, Ryan Hackett, Braden Sands, Alondra Suarez, Adalia Lopez, Caden Taft, Reynalda Robles, Liliana Ruffins, Nandini Shriam, Jocelyn Valdivia, Brittany Ortiz, Marissa Rukowski, Santos Hernandez, Deontay Nixon, Noah Pena, Diego Hartness, Julian Luna, and Joshua Payne. Well done, band. All right. Okay, I forgot. Our temple bands are under the direction of Brent Matheson, Marcus Duran, and Peter Milliken, and our orchestra is under the direction of Mr. Kiefer, Nathaniel Kiefer. I forgot to say that. I apologize. All right, everybody smile pretty. What do we say? Yay, band! Okay, everybody stay still just a second. Let's get a picture. Okay, everybody, make sure every mom's happy, every dad's happy. Grandma, grandpa's. All right, do we have all the pictures we need? Ms. Brown, are we good? Good? Anything else? Okay, thank you so much. Students will exit this way. Well done, band! Parents, we're so glad you came, but we understand if you'd like to exit. Thank you for being here tonight. Good job, band. Great job. Make a little shifting.
It does change.
Maybe stop. So cute. She's so precious.
Okay.
Okay.
Our next item is item D, Texas A&M University, very important counselor, Christy Burke.
Temple High School's Christy Burke has been recognized by the Texas A&M University Division of Enrollment Management as a 2026 very important counselor. Going up there, Ms. Burke. Mrs. Burke serves as a college and career advisor in the counseling department at Temple High School, and she devotes her time to ensuring that Temple High School students are prepared for and aware of their options as they move into college or the workforce following graduation acknowledges her outstanding service and invaluable contributions to guiding students along their journey to higher education. In addition to recognizing Mrs. Burke for her contributions, Texas A&M will also honor the pivotal role she plays in shaping the future of students and embodying the spirit of excellence that defines Texas A&M by offering a $1,000 very important counselor scholarship to a Temple High School student who will be attending Texas A&M in the 2026-2027 school year. I know that's special to your heart, isn't it, Ms. Burke? Thank you, Ms. Burke, for your commitment and dedication to serving the students of Temple ISD, and we celebrate you alongside Texas A&M University as a very important counselor. Well done.
And I just want to say, we have an outstanding counseling department at Temple High School, and having Mrs. Burke there as someone dedicated to helping our students explore the possibilities and navigate that road towards what happens after high school has been incredibly valuable for our students and for our parents. I've had several tell me personally what a difference she's made. So, Christy, you have such a heart for our students, and we recognize how very hard you work to ensure that they have the best chance of success after high school. And I'm so pleased that Texas A&M noticed as well. So congratulations.
Item item E, the athletic department grant TAF Beyond the Game Team Award.
The Temple High School Athletic Department was one of just 21 athletic departments or teams from across the state of Texas to be recognized by the Grant Taft Foundation with a Grant Taft Beyond the Game Team Award last month. So I'll let you guys join the board up here. The Grant Taft Beyond the Game Team Award includes a $1,000 grant and specifically mentions Temple High School's athletic training, football, and volleyball programs. The award recognizes the department's community service initiatives and servant leadership. Temple High School staff members and student athletes volunteered at the City of Temple's annual Christmas dinner for the 14th time this year. They served meals, conversed with community members, and participated in events, activities to help create a warm and welcoming atmosphere for those in attendance. Student athletes and student trainers also visited a local care facility to deliver socks and handwritten notes to students. These projects are part of the athletic department's focus on reinforcing a culture of service within its programs to positively impact both the community and the student athletes and staff involved. As TISD Athletic Director Stephen Prentice said, these experiences not only provide meaningful support to our community, but also help shape the character, leadership, and integrity of our athletes. We are incredibly proud of the way they represent Temple High School and our district. We're also incredibly proud of the student athletes for the way they represent the department, the school, and the district. Tonight we want to recognize, and he doesn't want to go up there, but he is Steve Prentice, Wendy Scribonic, Chad President, and Anna Smith from the Temple High School Athletic Department. Congratulations to each of you. Well done.
I'm not going to pull out any stories from the past, but I will say there is not another group that doesn't care more about our kids here in Temple. So from being a student to an employee, coworker, and now on the board, like really honored to know you guys and to work with you guys. And I feel like it's been more than 14 years. I feel like when I was in high school, we did some of these things, but I'm glad that Temple is finally getting the recognition that they deserve. Truly, Temple athletics is second to none. I've seen a lot of athletic programs and no one does it better than we do. So proud to stand along with you guys.
Thank you very much. Good job.
Next item F is Rotary Educator of the Month.
The Rotary Club of Temple supports teachers in Temple ISD by recognizing an Educator of the Month at club meetings throughout the year. The district is proud to recognize Nicole Taha at Powell Elementary School as the Temple ISD teacher recognized for the month of March. Mrs. Taha is a self-contained third-grade teacher in all subjects at Kennedy Powell. She has 7 years of service at Temple ISD, and her nomination highlights how Mrs. Taha is known for her strong parent relationships, so much so that families requested her when she's changed grade levels. She's also both a team lead and a lead learner on campus. She organizes fundraisers, plans field trips, coordinates campus events, and even displays that celebrate students and build a strong campus culture. She also leads the Campus Scripts National Spelling Bee and just had a student compete and finish in the top 10 in the regional level. Her commitment to students, staff, and families make her an outstanding choice for this honor. Ms. Taha, we are so happy to recognize you and to join the Rotary Club in celebrating your excellence. Well done.
Well, Ms. Taha, I tell you what, I'm so proud to be an alumni of Kennedy Powell Elementary. Jill, you're growing them good over there because this is the second one that has been the Rotary Educator of the Month. Just last month we had one as well. So we have heard wonderful things about Ms. Taha from parents, and the students absolutely love her. Her commitment to the students and to the entire school community is second to none and has a lasting impact. So we join Rotary in celebrating you, and we're proud to have you. Thank you for all you do for our kids.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Item G is TISD Communication Department, TSRPA Star Awards.
The Temple Independent School District's Communication Department has been recognized with 5 Gold Stars, 4 Silver Stars, and 5 Bronze Star Awards represented by the Texas School Public Relations Association, and they really hate it when we brag on them. This year's Star Awards recognize work produced during the 24-25 school year. The awards recognize the work of John Wallin, Eric Larson, and Amy Fry Brown of the TISD Communication Department. Temple ISD won honors for all 14 Star Award submissions the department entered. The department was awarded Star Award recognition in a variety of categories, ranging from feature and promotional videos to photography and published news releases. Eric, I like it. And electronic newsletters. The 14 Star Awards won this year are the most in a single year in the history of Temple ISD. That's something to celebrate. TISD competes with districts across the state with 15,000 students or fewer, meaning that Temple has to compete against some districts and departments that are almost twice their size. The communication department gets to tell our story, your stories, and every day their news releases, their photos, their videos, their social media posts are seen by an ever-growing audience of stakeholders, and the department is so grateful to see its work recognized by their peers. And we're just really amazed by what you do every day to tell the story of Temple, and so thank you so much. Congratulations.
So for several consecutive years now, this department has won statewide honors. This is the first time that they've won 14, which is it's unheard of, really, and maybe even unrepeatable. This is the first time this last year that I actually went to the TISD conference. I was asked to show up to do a keynote, and I've always heard that Temple, is revered at the conference. But it wasn't until I went and I interacted with communication professionals across the state, officers of the organization, and then it really hit me on how the school district is represented and viewed optically across the state in terms of communications. And the three things that came to my attention when I was talking to people at this conference over and over: storytelling, transparency, and creativity. Over and over and over. And Amy, Eric, and John, they all represent that bundle extremely well. This may be the very best that we have had in this department ever. This combination of these three individuals. I am so proud of you three. You know, you don't pass bonds invaders. You don't have community trust that we do. You don't do those things unless people feel connected, and that is in large part due to communication and relationships. And they carry a lot of that. They carry a lot of that. So we are very grateful for the three of you and what you do for Temple ISD. Congratulations once again. Very proud of you.
Let's get a picture for Amy. Well done. Thank you.
Item under executive hires, consideration for approval to hire assistant principal of superintendent services to Wanda Hudson.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. The hiring committee, consisting of Stephen Prentice, Joe Owen, Isaac Hernandez, Katrina Lockspeech, Quinisa Williams, Michelle Rhodes, Tiffany Vestal, Kim Levy, Vance Willis, and Dr. Jason Mayo, interviewed 6 candidates on March 4th, 2026 for the position of Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, and selected their top 3 candidates to interview with the senior leadership team. The senior leadership team interviewed the top 3 candidates on March 13th, 2026, and selected Ms. Tawana Hudson as the lone finalist for the position of Assistant Superintendent of Student Services in Temple ISD. Ms. Hudson earned a Bachelor of Science in Education from Emporia State University in 2000 and a Master's degree in Counseling from Texas A&M University Commerce in 2006. She obtained her principal certification from Lamar University in 2014 and her superintendent certification from Texas A&M University Commerce in 2026. Ms. Hudson currently serves as the Executive Director of Student Services and Campus Support in Duncanville ISD. She previously served as a math teacher, school counselor, assistant principal, and principal in Duncanville. Throughout her career, Ms. Hudson has developed expertise in professional development and student support systems. She is recognized for her ability to align people, processes, and data to improve attendance, behavior, and academic performance across diverse school settings. She leads with intentionality, humility, and a deep belief in developing people, strengthening relationships, and creating environments where both students and educators thrive. As a former military-dependent student who attended schools across multiple states and overseas, Ms. Hudson brings a personal understanding of the importance of stable, student-centered systems. Ms. Hudson is excited to be named the lone finalist for the position of Assistant Superintendent of Student Services and looks forward to working with our students, staff, and families. Presenting her for approval.
Item, we have a motion.
I move.
A motion by Ms. Cook,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Dean. All in favor, have a show of me. All opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. It is approved.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Good evening, President, Board of Trustees, Dr. Odd. I want to thank you for this opportunity and for your trust. I'm really honored to be standing here this evening, and I want to thank the interview committee for the time, the care, and Temple ISD was its visible investment in leadership through Holdsworth. That told me a lot about this district. But what really confirmed things for me was the people. There is a close-knit feel here, and every conversation that I've had, including today, has just felt real. There's also been a consistency that I've experienced that makes it clear that this is a place where people are aligned and working towards the same goals. That matters to me because it's how I lead. I believe that relationships come first, and that leadership at its core is about service and creating the conditions where others can thrive. As I step into this role, I plan to spend time listening, learning, and partnering with campuses to ensure the work of student services is clear, aligned, and truly supportive. I'm not coming to change anything that's working, but instead I'm here to build on it, strengthen it, and contribute to the momentum that is already underway. I'm really excited to become a Wildcat and to continue to serve and fully invest in Temple ISD. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I'm honored to serve Temple and excited for the work ahead. And I do have some family members here, so I'd like to introduce them. My mother is here. I have cousins here, and then one of my friends from college is here as well. So if you all want to stand up. Thank you all so very much. Yes.
I'd like to make two comments. First of all, I want to thank you, Ms. Hudson, for trusting Temple ISD for your growth and development and, continuing your journey and your career. I want to thank your family for sharing her with us ahead of time, because she will be shared. I promise you that. We really look forward to having you on our team and welcoming you, and we're excited. I also want to thank your predecessor. Not yet, but there'll be another time for this called a retirement reception or get together. But I want to thank Eric Hogberg. Would you hold your hand up, please? I can tell you that when Eric took the department to when he leaves it, it is drastically different than it needed to be. And he's done it steady. He's done it quietly. He's done it in a very dependable way, in a very consistent way. And we're all really grateful to have you as a teammate that we have. And you're not going too far because you live in the area. So once you're a Wildcat, you always are. So we appreciate you, Eric. Thank you.
Our next item is consideration for approval of the principal at Sampson Howard Elementary.
Okay, the senior leadership team interviewed candidates for the position of principal at Sampson Howard Elementary School on April 7th, 2026, and selected Dr. Zachary Klein as the lone finalist. Dr. Klein graduated from Stephen F. Austin in 2010 with a Bachelor of Music. He received his Master of Education and Administration degree in 2013 from Lamar University. And he graduated from the University of Mary Hardin Baylor in 2016 with a Doctorate of Education. Dr. Klein currently serves as the Dean of Instruction at Dr. Jimmy Don Aycock Middle School in Killeen ISD. Prior to that, he served as an assistant principal at Harker Heights Elementary and Rancier Middle School. He served students as head band director at North Belton Middle School, assistant band director at Belton Middle School, and music teacher at Sparta Elementary. Outside of his professional role, Dr. Klein values time with his family and playing board games. He is married to his wife, Tiffany, and they have two beautiful daughters who are here to cheer them on. I've seen their pom-poms. Addison, 6, and Skylar, 4. He enjoys staying active, aviation, and finding opportunities to learn and grow both personally and professionally. Dr. Klein has a passion for education and student learning as well as fine arts, and is excited to join the Temple ISD team as a Sampson Howard Elementary Cougar. It is with great pleasure that the committee recommend Dr. Zachary Klein to the Board of
this as an action item. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Alexander,
I'll second the motion.
second by Ms. Dean. All in favor, could we have a show of hands? All opposed, same sign. It is approved.
Thank you. I've had my eye on this building for quite some time. Two of my passions collide, and I can't ask for anything better. And I'm so blessed to be here and humbled by the warm welcome everybody has given me. There's an old Japanese saying, fall 7, rise 8. Grit is the expectation that our own efforts can improve our future. I have a feeling tomorrow will be better. It's way different than I resolve to make tomorrow better. The hope that gritty people have has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with getting up again. As a former music teacher, I'm passionate about the arts. You see, whether it's practicing a difficult piece, revising a painting, or rehearsing for a performance, success does not come quickly or easily. It comes through effort, comes through failure, and trying again. In arts, mistakes are not the end. They're part of the process. And that mindset builds resilience, discipline, and confidence, skills that extend far beyond the studio. I believe school should be a place where every child feels known, valued, and inspired to grow. Together with the incredible staff at Sampson Howard, we will continue building a culture that honors Mr. Sampson and the Howards, enriching student experiences and fostering strong academic outcomes. You don't get to stand here today on your own. With me, I have my family and friends. My mom and dad are here with my wife Tiffany and our daughters Addison and Skylar. Thank you for your vote this evening. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to serve the families and staff at Sampson Howard and the Temple ISD community. There's no party without some pom-poms.
A few comments. Temple ISD is no stranger to hiring clean ISD evacuees. I was one 14 years ago and no longer live the professional gypsy life. I found a place to stay and love it. Dr. Klein, I will tell you that you are joining, and you know this already, an amazing staff. When you walk on the campuses, you know in the first 5 minutes. And Sampson Howard is that place, you know in the first 5 minutes. It's a place that people desire. They've done an incredible job, built relationships with families, with each other. And as big as that campus is, it sure feels small. It feels like a family. And I know you know that, and I know that you're excited about it, and you're ready to ride with that family. I do want to thank the person behind the Cougar mascot, because that is actually the current principal, Dr. Crystal Thomas. And she is such a champion, and has been, and so appropriate that she's wearing that mascot, because she is a true Cougar through and through. And Crystal, you've heard me say this because we are keeping her in the district. She has been promoted to Executive Director of Elementary. But I'm so proud of you, and every time you drive by Sampson Howard, I know you're proud. And they're going to continue making it a proud place, so congratulations.
Our next item is consideration for approval of the position of principal at Wheatley Alternative Education Center. Ms. Ward.
Okay, the senior leadership team interviewed candidates for the position of principal at Wheatley Alternative Education Center on April 10, 2026, and selected Mr. LaRon Slay as the lone finalist. Mr. Slay graduated from Howard Payne University in 2001 with a Bachelor of Behavioral Science in Biology and a minor in Psychology. He received his Master of Educational Leadership in 2018 from the University of Texas at Arlington. Mr. Slay currently serves first as an assistant principal at Lamar Middle School in Temple ISD. Prior to that, he served as an assistant principal at Temple High School and an 8th grade science teacher in Killeen ISD. Mr. Slay loves spending time with his family, going to church, and all things sports. He and his wife, Amanda Slay, who is our principal at Jefferson Elementary, have been married for 22 years, almost 23, not quite, and have 3 children. Maddox is 9 and attends Jefferson Elementary. Paxton is 15 and attends Temple High School, and Braden is 19 and is a freshman at Temple College. And Paxton was one of our fine arts recognizer. Thank you. Recognitions. Mr. Slay has a passion for mentoring students and is excited about the opportunity to lead at Wheatley Alternative Education Center. It is a great pleasure that the committee recommends Mr. LaRon Slay to the Board of Trustees for approval for the position of principal at Wheatley Alternative Education Center.
Move for approval.
We got a motion here by Ms. Suarez,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Myers. This is an action item. Do we have a show of hands? All in favor? All opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. It's approved.
Thank you. Good evening. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the selection committee, the board, Dr. Ott, Dr. Adams, and the senior leadership team for placing your trust and confidence in me to lead Wheatley Alternative Education Campus. I received this opportunity with deep appreciation and a strong sense of responsibility. I truly believe that God places people in our lives at just the right time to help guide, support, and refine us. And I'm thankful for the following people who have been on this journey with me. To my mom, who's here tonight, thank you for being the foundation of perseverance and strength in my life. You took the challenges life gave you and turned them into opportunities, never allowing your past to define your future or ours. Your sacrifice made this moment possible, and I am forever grateful. To my wife, my best friend of 22 years, Amanda, thank you for your unwavering love, grace, and guidance. You have walked this journey ahead of me in so many ways, modeling excellence and leadership at every step. I would not be standing here today without your constant support and belief in me. I am also incredibly proud of my children, Braden, Paxton, and my princess, Maddox, who is also turned 9 today, so she's waiting to celebrate, so I got to make this quick. My family is my why, and it means so much to have you here with me sharing in this moment. But also in attendance, I have my sister, I have my stepdad, my mother and father-in-law, friends and former colleagues, my former principal, Ms. Bradford. Thank you for showing up and surrounding me with your encouragement and support. Your presence means more than words can express. And I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to my current principal, Ms. Rhodes, and my partner, AP, Ms. Reynolds, back there, bringing the energy, as always, and the entire staff at Lamar Middle School. Over the past 6 years, you have become like family to me, and I'm grateful for the support, growth, and relationships we have built together. And I don't see Mr. Pleasant here. He did call me and tell me that he might not be able to make it or he might be late, but I do want to honor him as well. I want to honor Wheatley's current principal, Mr. Pleasant. For the past 19 years, he has shown the Temple community what it truly means to lead with grace, integrity, humility, joy, resilience, and above all, love. His impact on generations of students, families, staff, and colleagues in this community is immeasurable. And he's carried that responsibility with a sense of purpose that inspired us all. Mr. Pleasant, wherever he is at this moment, thank you for not only being a mentor, but also a trusted friend and a constant source of inspiration. I am deeply grateful for the example you have set, the path you have paved, and the legacy that you leave behind. I would like to close by honoring my personal Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. As a master craftsman, he has used every step of my 48-year journey to refine and prepare me for this moment. And I step into this new role with humility and purpose. It is both an honor and a privilege to serve students with some of the greatest needs in our district, and I am excited to learn and partner with a dedicated staff who share a passion for changing the trajectory of students and families in this community. Thank you for sharing this special moment with me and my family. God bless and good night.
I'll just make one comment. First of all, Ron is 100% correct in recognizing Carl Pleasant, who's not here. What he has done in this community is would be very hard to match. It would take someone extraordinary, and we found that person. LaRon is an extraordinary man. He serves his country, and many of you know that. He honors his family. And where's your mother? Right here. I usually don't do this, but Mom, I'm going to tell you, he bragged about you in the interview. After 48 years, you still inspire your son. And that's a fact. He honors his family. And I'll tell you, to be a DAP principal, that can't be professional. It's personal. This is mission work for LaRon Slay. He identifies with students in that situation, and he has a heart for doing everything possible to right the trajectory. He's got a great team over there to do that with as well. We're proud of you, LaRon. Proud of your family in this district. His wife's principal at Jefferson. His kids they're in this boardroom more than I am in terms of being celebrated. They're all over the place. They church it up in the community. They grocery shop in the community. They do it all. They pour it into the community. So we're just very blessed to have your family as part of the Temple. Thank you.
The next item is consideration for approval of superintendent recommendation regarding employment and contract status for administrative personnel. Ms. Ward.
Yes, so if, tonight we are bringing for you our principals and our directors to sorry, I'm a little distracted. No, y'all good, y'all are good. I want to be rude. So our principals, you'll notice we are missing two principals on the list. Crystal Thomas is moving up in the district, and Carl Pleasant is retiring. So they are not on that list for a reason. And then our directors are all coming back. You won't see Crystal on there because you just approved her. So she is good to go.
Any questions? This is an action item. Do we have a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Myers, seconded by Ms. Dean. All in favor, could we have a show of hands? All opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. It's approved.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. The next item is an announcement of school board training credits. And I will read our continuing education here too. Under the State Board of Education rules, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation expected of any board member. As board vice president, I am required to announce the names of the members that are member anniversary of each appointed to the board. Has completed the requirement continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. All TISD board members, Dan Posey, Ronnie Gaines, Virginia Suarez, Shannon Dean, Shannon Myers, Don Cook, and Malaysia Alexander all has completed and exceeded the required continuing education. Thank you. And next, any future items of discussion we would like to seeing next item, which is important date, Dr.
Okay, board members, we are in the backstretch. I think 29 days, if I'm not mistaken, or close to it until graduation. A couple of important dates coming up this Thursday. We have Sensory Night at Meredith Dunbar at 5 o'clock. I would like to encourage you to be there if you can. We have our board retreat April 23rd, and I'll just tell you ahead of time, I think Monica may have reached out or will soon, but that one will be driven by facilities items, so we will not have a facilities committee meeting the week after, okay? So this is more or less sufficing for that. If you have the opportunity next Friday to join our ROTC ceremony, I started going to that about 3 years ago. That's really an extraordinary event. If you have an opportunity to celebrate with our students and families, I would certainly encourage you to do that. That program has grown a lot in the last 3 or 4 years, and you know of some of the programs they've added, whether it's archery, marksmanship, or what have you. So they've done a great job. It's a great opportunity to celebrate with them. May 4th is our senior top 10% banquet. That's a Monday. It's at Temple High School, 6 p.m. I'm going to encourage you to be there for that event. And then we have the TBI Silver Recording Ceremony. I think I sent you the digital flyer today about that, and I know Ms. Boyd will put it in your calendars as well. That's also a great event to attend. And the last one is our TEF Impact Celebration Top 10%. It's at Western Hills Church of Christ. It's at 6:30 p.m. And that's May 7th, which is a Thursday. It's put on and hosted by Temple Education Foundation. I think they're changing up the event a little bit this year. Was that scholarships? What? Scholarships only. Thank you. I just show up. So thank you, Berlasia. She's been involved in that as well as part of TEF. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Gaines.
Next is our consent agenda items. What would be the board's pleasure on our consent agenda items?
Due to an affiliation with Temple College, I abstain from agenda item H, memorandum of understanding between Temple Independent School District and Temple College Dual Credit Program. I move we approve the consent agenda items A through G and I through K.
We have a motion.
A motion.
A second. It's been moved and approved. All in favor, could we have a show of hands? All opposed? Same sign. It is approved. We noted that Mr. Myers is abstaining. Okay. I'm sorry. Now, item H, we need to approve. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve consent agenda item H.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second on that motion. All in favor, could we have a show of hands? All opposed? Same sign. We have all with Mr. Myers abstaining. Be noted. Books.
Good evening, Vice President Gaines and Dr. Ott, school board members. On October 14th, Amy Armstrong presented to the board the math textbook process, timeline, and committee members. Tonight, I'm here to share the results of that process. As a result, throughout the fall and into the beginning of the semester, our committee members evaluated all of the teacher and student materials carefully and thoroughly. In January, members then attended an in-district presentations from several of our publishing companies and continued to evaluate the materials. Concluding this process, our members voted and recommend Solvus Learning for our instructional materials for K-8 math, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry. Tonight, I would first like to ask if you have any additional questions about this process, and then respectfully request your consideration in approving the recommendation from our committee members.
Any questions? This is approval. Right. This approval. We have a motion.
A motion.
All right. property tax collection activity, Brandy Stanford. It's not approved. It's the third one.
As you very well know, school districts are funded through local property tax collections and state funding, and for Temple ISD, our total budgeted revenues are approximately $123 million for this year, with about $59 million or 48% of that being represented from local property tax collections. A small portion from local revenue is supported through delinquent tax collections, including penalties and interest, and the district continues to maintain very strong collection rates, consisting of approximately 99% of our annual tax levy, due to the work of MBVA. Additionally, this firm has been instrumental in securing state funding through multiple tax appeals, and at this time, I'd like to hand it over to Matthew Tepper, who is the president and attorney with MBVA, and will provide the board with an update on the delinquent tax collections. Before I pass it over, there is a presentation that was put in your board book. If not, I have a, would you like a paper copy?
Thank you very much. Stafford, Dr. Ott, Vice President Gaines, the rest of the school board, and everybody else in the Temple ISD community. Our law firm has been honored for many, many years to do the delinquent tax collection for the Temple Independent School District. Most of the work that we do is really done in conjunction with the Tax Appraisal District of Bell County, who collects the taxes for the school district. But the work we do ultimately is meant to benefit this school district and everybody who participates in it. In your board book and passed out the paper copy, I have a few charts that show how the delinquent tax collections have been going for Temple Independent School District. And in my opinion, when you are looking at tax collections, there's really two numbers as a school board that you ought to be very interested in. The first one is whether or not you are getting enough money in every fiscal year to pay the bills that come due for the Temple Independent School District. And the second number that I think you need to pay attention to is everybody who owes taxes to the Temple Independent School District ultimately paying the amount of money that they owe. If you turn to page 3 of our report, I've got the total revenue from tax collection numbers for the last 4 fiscal years. That is the chart that tells you whether or not you are getting enough money to pay your bills in a given year. And what you can see for the most current year, the fiscal year 2024, which ended on June 30th of 2025, there was an adjusted levy of $80,654,000. And throughout that fiscal year, your total tax collections were $79,978,000, so 99.16%. If you go back and you look at 23, we actually got over 100% in 2023. That's because we have current year taxes, delinquent year taxes, and penalty and interest, so it is possible to get over 100%. 2022, we were right at 99%. In 2021, we were at 100.87%. So I think that shows that in every fiscal year the Temple Independent School District has, you are collecting the tax dollars that you need to meet what the levy is that you put on. If you turn to the next page, page 4 of the handout, that is the chart that tells you how many people, what is the total amount of tax collection for each of the last 4 fiscal years. And the difference between these two charts is if you look at the 2021 number, the 99.85, which is all the way over to the right, the adjusted tax levy for tax year 2021 was $60,391,558. In the time since those tax bills went out in October of 2021 up until February 28th of 2026, $60,303,640 had been collected. That means for the 2021 tax year, there are only $87,918 worth of taxes out of a $60 million levy that have not been collected. And I will tell you, the reason that $87,918 hasn't been collected is because most of that is uncollectible. Some of those are accounts that are in bankruptcies. Some of those are amounts that are owed on homesteads for people who may be over 65 or disabled and have a deferral that we can't collect it. Some of it are taxes that were assessed on manufactured homes, where the manufactured homes are now dilapidated, so there's nothing we can sell, and the people who own them are judgment proof. Some of them are businesses that went out of business, and we can't find their business personal property. But over 99.85% of the taxes that were levied are collected. That's virtually every dollar that was assessed by Temple Independent School District was received. Now, for 2024, we're only at 99.27%, but those tax bills only went out in October of 2024. I hope that when I'm standing here in 2 or 3 years, giving you the report for 28, 29, and 30, I'll be able to tell you that for 2024, we got to 99.85 or possibly a little bit higher. Yes, Dr.
So in looking at that 4-year span, roughly 1.2 million is remaining somewhere in there. Do we have, out of that 1.2, you had mentioned what's available to be collected. Do we have an idea out of that total amount remaining due, what the specific number is that's collectible?
Yeah, I don't have that number in front of me right here. I can absolutely generate and get you that
I would be
number.
curious about that. And then the other thing is, on tax remaining due, does that include the penalties or not?
No, the tax remaining due is just the base tax.
Right.
And what I would say, without being able to necessarily give you a breakdown as to how much is in deferral, how much is in bankruptcy, and whatever else it is, of that $1.2 million roughly, you can see $586,589 of that were 2024 taxes. So those taxes were billed in October of 2024. They weren't turned over to our law firm until July of 2025, and so we are going to work on that. And what you can tell, what was originally turned over to us for 2024 was $1,456,647, and in the 8 months that we've had it, we've already collected $870,000 of those dollars, leaving that 586. If you look at the year below that, the 2023, we've had 20 months to collect that. Turned over to us in 2023 was $1.63 million. We've already, in the 20 months we've had that, collected $1.3 million of that. And so while there is $1.2 million out there, that's not all going to come in one giant swoop. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring that 586 down significantly in the next 12 months. We're going to bring that 316 down significantly in the next 12 months, so we get it down to a number where it's everything that can be collected. The bad part of that is we're also going to get the 25 taxes turned over and the 26 taxes, so that number will probably remain fairly constant around that $1.2 million, because as we start collecting the old taxes, the new taxes,
Which is actually a lower number because a percentage of that's uncollectible.
Right, it's not going to be 100% of it, but we will end up getting a portion of that. And also, the other thing is, because of the way that the state has been messing around with school finance and changing the amount that comes from local collections and the amount that comes from the state through compressed tax rates, your school tax levy at a local level is going down, and so that also ought to bring that number down as we collect the older years, when you were able to collect more dollars locally than you got from the state. Does that answer your question, Lisa, a little bit? But I will get you some more detailed information on the breakdown, Dr. Ott, so that you and your staff can look at that. We feel like these numbers are good. 100% of the taxes collected in a fiscal year, 99.85 collected by the end of the year, and collecting 80% of the taxes in the first 20 months after they are turned over to us. None of this happens. We have a full-time staff that works out of the tax appraisal district of Bell County, works for our law firm. We send out notices, we file lawsuits, we take judgments, and we post properties for sale. Those efforts put pressure on people to encourage them to pay their taxes. If you turn to page 7, you can see that we mailed out in the last couple of years 18,582 notices on 23,533 properties. We ended up filing lawsuit on 324 lawsuits on 519 properties, taking judgments in 127 cases on 167 properties. We ended up posting 107 properties for sale, and we ended up actually selling 37 properties. So we sent delinquent notices on 23,553 properties, and we ended up posting and selling at the courthouse steps 37 properties. And to me, that is the sign of a delinquent tax collection program that is working, because ultimately everybody who owes the tax is paying it. And the properties, the 37 that we sell, they're properties where they are underwater. They're properties that were bought by families 2 or 3 generations ago. There's nobody left that is really interested in it. Anybody who makes a solid, honest, good faith effort to pay their taxes, we are going to work with them and try not to sell their property. We also provide a fair number of other services to Temple Independent School District. We do a taxable value audit for you, try to make sure that you get the maximum amount of money from the state that you can get. We also help if the appraisal district ever comes up with bad values for Temple Independent School District. We help with the property value study. We have a bankruptcy department. We're active in the foundation, and so we try very hard to be a very good partner in every way that we can for Temple Independent School District. We really appreciate the partnership we have, and if y'all have any other questions, I'd be very happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, sir, very much. We appreciate all you do. Every penny counts.
I understand that, so thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Next item is consideration for approval of the ordering authorization to issuance of unlimited tax bonds and unlimited tax refunding bonds. Ms. Stanford.
Thank you. So as we look ahead, we have the opportunity to refund a portion of our Series 2018 bonds, as well as move forward with the sale of bonds that were authorized by voters in November election. This process is similar, like we've talked about before, of refinancing a mortgage. When market conditions are very favorable, that's when we can refinance existing debt to better utilize taxpayer dollars, and while also issuing new bonds to support projects approved by our community. Tonight represents an important step in that process, as the board considers authorizing the delegation of pricing of these bonds, allowing us to move forward when market conditions are favorable. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Jennifer Ritter, our financial advisor with Special Public Finance. Jennifer will provide an overview of the current bond market, as well as the timeline and next steps for the issuance of the Series 2026 bonds. And our bond attorney, Bart Feller, is also here this evening, available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Ms. Stanford has our books for you all to be able to follow along if you would like to do so. Just as she's, thank you for doing that, distributing those, I will point out that the bond market has obviously been a little bit topsy-turvy the last few weeks since, what's happening globally with the engagement in the Middle East. And so the action tonight, as a reminder, is what Temple ISD has done in the last few bond sales. It isn't a requirement that you sell these bonds on this schedule. It gives you the opportunity, should the market be favorable, for you to do so within parameters set by the board tonight. It allows you to move forward, as Ms. Stanford mentioned, at the best time in the market. So otherwise, the alternative would be to have to come to you on a board meeting date, which is really restrictive, given that we don't know if it's going to be a good day in the market or a bad day in the market. So anyway, that's kind of the action tonight. I just wanted to point that out before we move through. So on the first page here of the booklet that we handed out is the interest rate market. Obviously, interest rates, a little bit like gas prices, have been up as we kind of work through what's happening globally. Gas prices are actually kind of driving inflation, and so inflation in the bond market is not good, so that's been a little bit of why interest rates have increased. This is a one-year history. We're on the far right-hand side, but even though rates have gone up since the start of the year, really since the last 6 weeks, you can see that compared to last year, we're still in a relatively good position. Quite frankly, we're better than we were when we actually passed the bond, or you passed the bond back in November. So all of that to say, it was better 2 months ago, but it certainly could be worse in 2 months from now. So we never were able to time the market perfectly, but it still looks like a good time to sell. So the next
page here is the timeline. I know that you've been briefed on this before by Ms. Stanford, but essentially the action tonight would be the formal action by the board. Assuming that you decide to move forward, we have a rating call with Standard & Poor's set up for next week. The district is currently rated AA minus by Standard & Poor's, which there's AAA and then AA plus. AA is yellow next, right? So you're very high to a very strong, perfect AAA rating. So we hope to be able to maintain. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't maintain that rating, but we have to go through the process with your administrative team here to make sure that rating is kept. So that'll be assigned on April 24th. We've already applied for the permanent school fund guarantee, which takes your rating and supplants the AAA guarantee of the state of Texas on top of that for a very minor fee. So we have applied for that on top of it already. We do want to wait until you receive preliminary values from the appraisal district. That's why the timing of this is tonight as opposed to last month or a couple of months from now. On April 30th, the appraisal district will send out their preliminary values. Obviously, because we're selling new money, we want to make sure that if we have the values that we expect to be the values of Temple ISD when the roll is certified, we want to make sure that so we can structure the new money portion of your bond issue with the least amount of impact on the tax rate. So having that value in hand allows us to hopefully aim for, and I don't see why not, a no impact on the tax rate, which I know is what you talked about with the voters as well. So assuming that all moves forward, we'd be in a position ideally to price on May 7th, but again, the action that you'll take tonight will allow us to say, if the 7th isn't good, what about the 8th or 9th? It'll give us flexibility, but currently the timeline is to go with the 7th. And then if we did price then, we'd be in a position to close on June 4th. That would be when the money would be in Temple ISD's accounts for you all to start spending. On the next page there, I just wanted to show you, as we talked about the tax rate a little bit, this is a lot of stuff happening on this page, so I won't delve too far into it, but we did project out that with the refunding and with this sale, which essentially we're talking about selling one half of the authorization the voters gave you back in November, that 119. So it would be approximately $60 million that you would be selling currently on the new money side plus the refunding, and that would be no change to the tax rate. So you're able to do that without increasing the tax rate. More so, we went ahead just for modeling purposes and levied in coming back next summer and selling the remaining $59 million, again, with the growth that we've projected, which hopefully is pretty conservative in the tax base, no increase in the tax rate there as well. So we want to make sure that we're planning for the future to be able to go out and do what you told the voters you could do with the least amount of impact on the tax rate. The refunding that we've talked about, so as interest rates, as she mentioned, go down, there's an opportunity to go back and refinance for savings. We're not stretching out the term. All you're doing is taking the old debt, replacing it with its higher interest rate with a new current market lower interest rate. So on this page here shows you that the 2018 series that you sold has interest rates ranging from 4 to 5%. There's about 25 million of that left outstanding. The current interest rate would be about 3.75%. So we would take that 4 to 5% that you are paying, include this refunding with the new money, and by including them together as one issuance, we save on cost of issuance. So there's efficiencies there and savings back to the taxpayers as well by doing it all together. But by taking that old 4 to 5% interest rate, replacing it with a 3.75, far right-hand side here shows that you'd be in a position to save about $300,000 a year for a total of approximately $2.4 million simply by good fiscal management, your finance staff looking at these things, seeing when there's an opportunity to save money for the taxpayers and exercising that when it becomes available. These bonds weren't callable until February of this year, so we couldn't have done it before now, but they are now available. So if it makes sense to move forward, obviously if interest rates move up, we'll talk to your finance team about whether or not it makes sense to move forward. But right now, it looks pretty good to have that $2.4 million of savings. I want to point out in the first year there that it shows a loss of $2.2 million. It's not a loss. What that means is that we're contributing. We've got a pretty good reserve there of money in the interest and sinking fund that can't be used for anything aside paying debt service. So we can apply that to this issue. It downsizes the issue. It makes it more efficient. We're actually borrowing even less than we would have to otherwise. So it shows up as a loss, but essentially that's a contribution of existing money that can't be used for anything else but debt service. So that's what you'll see that loss is on the right-hand side. That is included in the total savings. Were it not for that, you actually be saving roughly almost $5 million. So it is incorporated into that. So the last page here, just to kind of wrap up, the parameters that you were looking at considering tonight show the pricing officer, superintendent, it says chief financial officer, I know your assistant superintendent of finance. I asked Mr. Fowler, your bond attorney, he said either term will apply. So either of them will essentially act as your delegates. We'll visit and say, hey, the market looks good. Can we go ahead and price on this date? They'll give us the go-ahead, but until they actually receive the bids and see what the underwriters are willing to offer, they can then sign on your behalf, but only if these other parameters are met. So the aggregate principal that we can sell will not exceed the 158,055, which includes 119.7 million of the new money and then 38 million of refunding. 119 is not what we intend to sell. That's the full amount that was authorized by the voters in November. We're intending to only sell half of that. But just to give yourselves flexibility, should it be that in the next couple of weeks you realize, hey, we need an extra $100,000 that we didn't think about for something or other, we have the ability to go up should we need to. This sets the cap, but you can go as low as you want, right? So the intention is not to sell that amount, it's to sell less, but it just gives you flexibility should things change between now and pricing. And then on the far right-hand side of that line, too, as well, 38 million, we're only intending to refund 24 million. This is picking up all the eligible bonds that you could refund. We're not including those now because currently they're not generating savings. So should the market interest rates go down and we could generate savings, we've given yourselves the flexibility to increase that amount to increase your savings. The maximum is just right here. That's determined. It can't exceed 6%. Currently, we're at about 4.4%, so that's high, but that's to give you the ability that should interest rates go up, you have the ability, your CFO, excuse me, assistant superintendent have the ability to make that call for you. We don't want to be too restrictive. Refunding must achieve at least 2%. Currently, it's 5.2%. So again, we probably wouldn't want to only get 2%, but we try and give you some flexibility here. Item 5, the final maturity of the bonds can't exceed February 1 of 2056. The new money is structured to be 25 years. This is 30 years. The only reason we would do that is if you really want to move forward, if we see interest rates are rising, maybe we can't hit that tax rate target 25 years, maybe we need to do 30 years instead. We don't intend to do that. We hope to do 25. But again, this is binding, so we can only do within these parameters that you set tonight. If for some reason you don't like these parameters, you have the ability from the dais tonight to change them. But again, we try and give you as much flexibility as possible because we can't anticipate, especially in this bond market, what's going to happen from day to day. So that's the item before you. The refunding, I'll point out, the final maturity is for the whole bond issue. This includes the refunding on the new money. The refunding will go to the term when the original bonds would have matured, and that's 2041. We won't stretch that out to 2056 or 2051. It will be 2041 regardless of that. So happy to answer any questions. I know it's kind of technical on some of those pages. Yes, sir.
So I know when we went out to the community, we, on the tax rate, said it'd be a penny for 119 million, 119, I think, 0.6. And, you know, we're going to say that to be conservative because obviously if we're growing every year by a certain percentage, then the chances of it being less than a penny or nothing at all are very high. The question I have is breaking the bond sale up into two sales, one theoretically in the next couple months for about half the amount, and then the other one, you know, maybe in the next year. It's easy to see on the second bond sale, whether it's in 2027 or 28, due to the projected growth of 5% or 8.54 that's in column C, that it would cost nothing for the remaining amount. Help me understand the empty space in column C in 2026. If we were to sell 60 million in the next 2 months, how is that not costing anything? What are we using for growth in the space that shows? I'm trying to understand that. Are we basing it on what it was when we were going out and talking to the community, the growth from then to now? Does this have to do with the defeasance? Is that
the fiscal year in 2026, that is 25-26, the year we're in. So in column B, that's 7.2 billion for actual assessed valuation. So that's correct. There is no growth rate that can be applied.
of the, was it 2.4 million? 2.2 million, because we have some excess, we're going to apply a payment early before June 30th, so that way we can maximize the refunding part of it on the back end. So that was where on the next chart, Jennifer was talking about how it shows a negative of 2.24 for the first year. We're going to upfront a payment early to hold that tax rate steady.
So selling 60 million in the next couple months. Am I thinking about that right? We're doing a half the bond sale, 60 million, say in the next couple months. We're making a payment up front, and that's what's going to keep things flat.
That is, plus we're projecting a conservative 5% growth.
Okay, so that's
any values, and Jennifer said we wanted to wait until we receive preliminary values on the 30th.
okay.
So this is hopefully the most conservative model we've got. We wanted to split it in half because, one, we don't need all the funds right now. And we wanted
No,
to
I totally understand that. Yes. I mean, that's the
why
right
there's
thing to do.
projected growth of none at first, because we're looking at the current year because we want to make a payment.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering how, I mean, I understand there's no adjustment there in growth, but I was wondering how is it flat? And the reason it remains flat.
It's because, like you mentioned, the defeats. We have
Okay, that's
set
okay.
aside for this purpose.
Which was the decision the board made 2 consecutive years, the last 2 years, or 2 out of 3?
It might have been 3, but I really think it's something
Okay.
that you completed. This is the very last year of it.
Okay, so that makes complete sense then. Okay, all right.
Would any other questions? Well, thank you guys. Y'all do a great job always with helping us with our bond sales and helping us maximize the amount we get out of them, and helping us keep our tax rate flat. We really appreciate all of that. Thank you very much.
Did you pick that up, Temple Daily Telegram? I just want to make sure you picked that up. We split the bond sale, so we're not selling all 119. We're splitting it in half into 2 bond sales for the purposes of managing the tax rate, which the first piece of it will for sure be flat, and the second would be projected to be flat. So in other words, even though we said we were going to raise the taxes a penny, it will be far less than that, maybe nothing at all. I'll be happy to write that down for you if you'd like to.
This is an action item. This is an action item. Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Motion by Ms. Alexander.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Dean. All in favor, could we have a show of hands? All opposed, same sign. It is approved.
I want to thank Jennifer and Bart. Really appreciate your help.
Next item is the teacher's time study presented by Ms. Ward.
Okay, so back in 21-22, the Texas Education Department agency realized that we are losing teachers at an enormous rate, right? And in that year, 41,000 teachers exited the profession, and about 66% more, according to a survey they put out, were thinking about leaving the profession. And so they created a vacancy task force to learn why teachers were leaving the profession. And they established 3 goals to help keep teachers. And one was to increase their pay. The other was to create support systems through mentoring programs. And the other was to find out about why the working conditions that teachers have that are driving them out of the force. So TEA reached out to a handful of districts to participate in a pilot study, teacher time study, and Temple ISD was one of those chosen pilot districts. And so we obviously said, yes, we want to be a part of it to help discover why teachers are leaving. We asked 3 of our teachers to be part of the study, and we have 2 of those teacher leaders here today to present our time study that we did. So I'm going to ask Mr. Davis and Ms. Hannah to come on up. And I would like to also say thank you to Sandra Atmar. She's the one that keeps us all on task. So.
And I just want to say to the board, I've heard this presentation twice now, and I'm going to thank both of you ahead of time. Of course, thank Mrs. Atmar. Like I said, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. She's not going anywhere. First of all, these two teachers are extraordinary with our students. Many of us have been in their classrooms, and they are incredible. But they have taken a leadership position here in what they've done with this time study for the agency and for us as a administrative team and leadership team, and making decisions on how to better support teachers. This is the right thing to do. Is to have your teachers spearhead these conversations. Teachers talk to teachers a lot more freely than they would to maybe administrators. And so I really appreciate both of you and your hard work and effort. And I hope that if I talk long enough, you won't be nervous, because you told me you would be going in here. You shouldn't be. But anyway, I'm very proud of both of you for what you do in the classroom and what you've done here. Thank you.
Thank you. I am used to walking around and talking, so I hope that's okay. I will try this, but this is my go-to mode. So, as Dr. Ward had mentioned, about a year ago, we were approached to do this piloting program with TEA, and we are extremely grateful to be here and share the stage with you guys, and just talk about why teachers are leaving the profession. Though they say they love, yes, thanks, that's fun.
That's perfect. Okay, does this work? Okay. Teachers love this profession. They love their students, and yet they are leaving at a rapid rate. And so we were grateful to be a part of this conversation. I'm Stephanie Hanna. I teach at Temple High School, Advanced English 2, who have a STAR test tomorrow. So if you're thinking about us, thoughts and prayers for tomorrow morning. Okay.
My name is Raymond Davis. I'm a fourth year teacher at Temple TISD. I teach fifth grade math at Western Hills. It's my 10th year teaching overall.
And then we also had Dr. Deborah Davis, who was with us, and she did an extraordinary amount of work as well, so we wanted to give her credit too.
She's over at Barnum.
So when we first started this study, there were 3 areas of inquiry that we were told we need to kind of go through and think about. And those 3 were teacher isolation, lack of resources, and an unsustainable workload. And as the leadership team and the teachers, we decided that our biggest issue that we were having was unsustainable workload. And so with that, we came up with some goals for studying, quantifying how teachers are spending their time. How are they working throughout the day, and then what are they taking home and on the weekends? Also, we wanted to think about identifying time-related concerns. What are the barriers that teachers were facing that was keeping them from quitting when the bell rang? And then also, we wanted to think about capturing teacher experience and perceptions. As Dr. Ott said, teachers love to talk to teachers about education and such. And so we wanted to get that feedback as much as possible and do something with it.
And with Teachers Love to Talk, we conducted we did 3 collection methods when we're collecting data. One being focus groups, where we invited teachers in, asked them questions, and then had to ask them to stop talking at some point. The teacher time diaries, we asked teachers to log their day in 5-minute increments, and so we could categorize how they're spending every minute of their day, not only at school, but if they worked after school or if they worked on the weekends. And then we had observations where we went into mostly planning times, and then some class times. Just going back real quick to the teacher focus groups, we had 62 teachers participate, which represents about 10% of our teaching staff. The time diaries, we had 26 teachers participate, which that is about 4% of our teaching staff. And then the observations was very, very small amount, probably not even an mentionable amount. It was very small.
So my favorite data collection was the teacher focus groups. Some of the teachers even told us, "I wish we could do this every year, just get together and talk and vent and discuss." And so with those focus groups, we were noticing 3 themes that were emerging. One was the need for protecting PLC and instructional time. This data collection took place during testing period, so just about a year ago. And so obviously teachers were a little stressed, but they had other duties. They were proctoring, they were monitoring, right? And so with that, they were being pulled from those PLCs and instructional time. And so that became one of the themes that emerged with focus groups. Another theme was the relief from the overwhelming workload and administrative paperwork. And we noticed, we got some feedback, extra feedback from that. The extra emails the teachers were having to do, progress reports, before progress reports, failure analyses. Teachers were having to do a little bit more that seemed to have no beneficial effect on the actual student or student growth. And so there were complaints about there's just a bit too much. Another theme that emerged was the request for more teacher input in instructional and campus decisions. As we all know, teachers would love a little bit more autonomy. We know we can't always give that extra bit sometimes, but teachers still wanted a voice in what was happening inside the classroom. One of the quotes that some of our teachers said, there isn't enough time built in for me to make the best plans that I can. And we saw that repeated throughout many of our focus groups, unfortunately.
What we saw was a lot of committed and passionate educators kind of looking for assistance. Like they're not going to do less of a job. They're going to figure out how to do the job. What they're looking for is the time and space to do the job where it doesn't burn them out. And they're not doing it 100% of the time. Going into our time diaries where we ask the teachers to log their time, the things that stuck out to us, insufficient time to work at school. So we need to protect their planning time. We need a realistic workload for teachers. If it's an 8-hour school day and they have a couple of hours conference or planning, the work needs to mirror the time in the day. I don't think that this has been the case for a long time with teaching. I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but when we were preparing for this, Dr. Ward asked me a question. She asked me, Mr. James, how old are you? And I clutched my pearls. And I said, look at my gray hair. It's not usually this gray. It's teaching kids. But what you meant was that today's teachers, the teachers that are entering into the industry today are not like the people in this room. There's a lot of old Chevys in this room. They look good, y'all run good, you don't take much to run, thank you. You don't take much to run. But some of these younger teachers, this will burn them out. Being as dedicated as we are and putting what we put in, it's kind of natural to some of us. It's what it takes to be successful. It's what it takes for your students to be successful. So I'm now tangent. Let me get back to this. Right. So realistic workload, and then also less instructional overreach. They're very passionate. They have a pulse on what's going on in the classroom more than any walkthrough might tell you. So they want a little bit more trust there when it comes to guiding student success.
Our last data collection method were the observations. We had 18 observations, 15 were PLCs, and 3 were in-class observations. The things we were noticing that we needed to limit the repurposing of PLCs. And what that means is we were noticing that PLCs were being used for department meetings or administrative meetings rather than teams being collaborative with one another. And though that might be the case, we need to have communication with our admin, with our district. We were noticing that some of these meetings were happening spur of the moment that day. We've got 5 or 10 minutes, let's meet real quick. And it was never 5 or 10 minutes, unfortunately. And a teacher will do what they need to do. They will go to the meeting, they will be there, they will take their notes. However, when they plan to have that PLC at the beginning of the day and you took it away, now they have to put that time someplace else. So we were noticing that coming up in the observations. Also, less PLC interruptions. There was a case where we had 2 people in a PLC and one had to go to a 504 meeting, which is mandatory. It was helpful for that student, but he had to go to the 504 meeting because he had to sub coverage during his conference later on that day. He was not going to get a time to plan that day with his team. So we were noticing that there was no clear distinction of what PLC should be and the opportunity and the purpose that it originally was for our campus. Therefore, we have a need for stronger structures for PLC. If we had a better understanding and intentionality behind PLC, we would be able to protect it more and use it for what it was really intended for. And we noticed in some of those PLCs, though, when we were setting agendas, when we were setting timers, when we were being cognizant of the time spent in there, they were aligned. We were getting things done. People were collaborating. And so we noticed there were things that were working with PLCs that we want to still maintain.
So what this told us, the things that popped up across our studies, insufficient protected planning time, excessive administrative tasks and competing priorities, and then limited teacher voice in decisions impacting their time and their role in the classroom. Also, we shared just some information from our study. We kind of had to trim down the study. There is a lot of information from the teacher time diaries and how they spent their day.
So ultimately, what we recommended throughout all of this data is that we need to protect and strengthen teacher planning time. It's the biggest bang for our buck. It will impact the most teachers as well as the most students with the intentionality behind PLC and what can actually occur in it. And so we wanted to redesign schedules and staffing, prioritizing, protecting, planning, and instructional time, and deploying staff strategically so that they can be in there with us planning. With that, we also wanted to establish clear PLC structures, letting teachers know what actually occurs in PLC. It might not be the same thing that happens in your conference period, but that it's still it's beneficial to be collaborating with your team. And then finally, revising operational practices, limit unintended interruptions, repurposing, and then streamlining administrative processes.
And to that end, we and the district leadership team created a plan. It's the Temple ISD district-wide PLC improvement action plan with a goal to establish a consistent, protected, and effective PLC process that empowers teachers to plan collaboratively, improve instruction, and positively impact student learning while respecting teacher time and well-being. There are a couple of objectives: protect PLC time from non-instructional interruptions, define clear structures and expectations for PLCs, and build leadership's capacity to design training and communication strategies that do not interfere with PLCs. The metrics for success: 100% of PLCs framework implementation with strong instructional alignment. PLCs are productive and protected, reported to by teachers, and improve teacher satisfaction and retention tied to effective time use.
So the things that we have done thus far, the leadership team reimagined the PLC framework. Though we've had this for as long as I've been here, they reimagined it in such a way that would be more understanding for teachers, and we would all understand and be on the same page of what PLC actually is. We redefined roles and responsibilities for the instructional leadership team. We protected PLC time embedded into the master schedules, and then campus leaders trained on facilitating high-functioning PLC, and then teachers were introduced to this new framework in August, kind of changing the way we thought about PLC, knowing that the impact that it has needed to be seen as we're in those meetings. And then we had a teacher input, which was surveyed in December.
All right. And ongoing and improving. So what's going on currently are walkthroughs, observations. The feedback for those walkthroughs and observations are given back to leadership so they can refine their PLC practices. Campus leaders,
Feedback loops such as surveys, pulse checks, reflection protocols are being monitored for effectiveness, and support is adjusted as needed. And then celebrations are shared, PLC success stories such as in spotlights, newsletters, and on PD days.
So I have the fun slide. What is going well with all this? With the teacher time study survey, we noticed that teachers appreciate PLC and they see that there is collaboration. They understand the purpose and they are getting something from it. Collaboration is growing. Even at the high school where sometimes, people just don't want to, they're collaborating, they're working together, and it's beautiful when it's happening. Structures are strengthening through clear agendas, calendars, timers. We have everyone in our PLC, they're on a timer now, and it's lovely. Everything's on time. It's great. Leaders are reflecting, identifying barriers, and adjusting to improve outcomes. There were walk reflections. PLCs are structured and aligned. We have those agendas and we're sticking to them. Collaboration is centered on student learning and instructional planning. We're having those conversations and they are focused.
I've got the other slide right there. Okay, so where we can continue to improve, I think the big thing is that we need to make sure that everybody in the room is getting something out of it. They need to see some value in being present in the meeting. So we need to have more balanced focus, not only just on the internalization, but also on the data-driven part. What do you do next? What do you do when they get it? What do you do when they don't get it? Planning is still happening outside of the school day. Increase quality of the voice and engagement across teams. Again, some people are in the room, but they're not actively participating, which then that makes them feel like they could be using their time better elsewhere. So differentiating PLC structures would really help. At the beginning of the school year, new curriculum, everybody was kind of starting together. I think teachers have shown that some of them have a good grasp of the curriculum, and they would like a little bit more latitude when it comes to getting the type of support they need. So I think we need to be a little bit more cognizant of what teachers need when we're asking for them to come into a room and work.
So the continued work that is going to be taking place. We're still going to be monitoring PLC across campuses, and eventually we will push this out to the district. Strengthen facilitation to ensure equitable participation, as Mr. Davis was mentioning, including everybody in that conversation. Reducing non-instructional interruptions, which I think is already working really well. From last year alone, I think things are working pretty well. Balance lesson internalization with data-driven response, having both of those conversations still, not just the what, but the how, and then how again. And then continuing to gather teacher feedback and adjusting. And honestly, this is a great start to this. Just having teacher voice in the conversation, having us here today, I think is a great step in the right direction.
Questions, comments?
Any questions? Well, thank y'all. Y'all put a lot of work into this. I know it took a lot of time, but I guess I would have one question. Though. Did y'all sample all the teachers that left, or just a part of them from each school? Is there certain ones you've done in different schools?
There were 3 schools as part of the piloting program, and we had volunteers help us with the data collection. These weren't from like exit surveys or anything.
Okay. Good sample size.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys for all you put into it, all the hard work you guys done. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job, and good luck on the star.
Next item is board committee reports. Policy committee meeting was canceled. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, April 29th at 4:30 p.m. Facility meeting was also canceled. The next meeting will be Thursday. Okay. Both the facility meeting will be canceled. And if no further business, we adjourned at 7:46 p.m.